A woman is like a mutilated man. Aristotle's words strike like a shard of glass through the haze of modern romance. Picture a man alone in a dimly lit room, the cold glow of his phone casting jagged shadows on the walls. His thumb hovers over a message he'll never send, a confession of longing to a woman who's already gone. The silence isn't empty, it's surgical, slicing through the myth he's clung to since boyhood, that her love would complete him, that her beauty was his salvation. But the pedestal he built for her is cracking, and in the fractures he sees the truth. Her warmth was never a gift, it was a chain, a glittering illusion meant to bind him. Here on dark Psyphoria, we don't look away. We stare into what hurts and what hides behind it. If you're ready to face the illusions you've been shackled to, subscribe to Dark Psyphoria, not for noise, but for the voice you've ignored too long. Your own. Schopenhauer saw through the lie centuries ago. Sexual passion isn't a man's weakness, it's his enslavement. Nature's cruel trick, the will to life, dangles beauty like a lure, baiting men into a cycle of desire and suffering. Let's strip this down, biologically, psychologically, spiritually. Biologically, your body reacts before your mind can. A flash of skin, a sway of hips, and your pulse quickens, a primal drumbeat you didn't choose. Psychologically, you're conditioned to chase. Every swipe, every curated pose on your screen trains you to see her as the prize, her gaze your validation. Spiritually, it's a deeper betrayal. What you thought was love was just the will's mirage, a mask over the void. Schopenhauer warned, "What is beautiful is not what is good, but what is useful to the will." Beauty isn't divine, it's diabolical. Imagine a man walking through a city at dusk, the streets pulsing with temptation. A woman passes, her dress clinging to her curves like a second skin, her eyes catching his for a fleeting second before she looks away. A deliberate tease. His heart races, but the feeling isn't desire. It's ambush. He's not hunting, he's hunted. Women have turned exposure into a performance, a calculated intrusion on his peace. They've learned the male gaze is currency, and they spend it ruthlessly. This isn't empowerment. It's strategic exhibitionism cloaked in the language of liberation. She posts a photo, her lips parted, her body angled just so, optimized for likes, shares, dopamine hits. "If my curves want to be the center of attention, who am I to stop them?" she says, but her confidence is a mask. It's desperation, a validation addiction wearing a feminist crown. Femininity used to be sacred, a mystery that invited reverence. Now it's a product, packaged and sold on feeds, stripped of depth, reduced to angles and filters. The body became the brand, the soul forgotten. Every tight dress, every thirst trap, every staged pose isn't random. It's a weapon. Not an attack on morality, but on intimacy. It erodes the flicker of instinct in a man to feel something real. Schopenhauer would call it what it is, bait for the will to continue itself. Not love, not meaning, not truth, just survival. Women know the power of flesh. They may not admit it, but they design the rules of this game. Picture her standing before a mirror, adjusting her pose, her breath held too long as she checks the reflection. Not for herself, but for the audience she craves. The mirror doesn't show her soul, it shows her leverage. She knows how to make you look, how to make you ache, how to make you forget who you were before her image burned into your mind. And while she plays this game, men are told to be soft, vulnerable, compassionate, to suppress the beast while being hunted by it. Schopenhauer wrote, "The sexual impulse is the strongest of human passions and the most cunning." So when a man navigates a world of flashing skin and curated seduction, expected to carry the restraint of a monk with the hunger of a wolf, it's not discipline they're asking of him. It's delusion. And when he stumbles, they call him the problem. But who built the maze? Who set the trap? She asks. What do you bring to the table while revealing her cleavage like it's currency? I am the table, she declares. No, you're not the table. You're the show on the table, and there are a million more like you, each screaming into the void, pick me, validate me, break for me. But when no man invests, when no one stays, she cries, men fear strong women. Number, we fear emptiness. We fear being lured by a fantasy only to find nothing behind it. Modern femininity has become a parade of illusions, performed with the confidence of queens, but the insecurity of orphans. You've robbed men of their right to pause, to breathe. Do you even know if what you feel is real desire or engineered arousal? Does he want you, or is he just trying to survive the algorithm you've turned your body into? There's no room left for imagination, no space for restraint. A man sits at a cafe trying to focus on his coffee, but his phone buzzes. A notification, another photo, another pose. His hand trembles as he scrolls, caught between longing and exhaustion. He's been at war with his instincts since breakfast, and you demand emotional intimacy from a man who's already bleeding. Schopenhauer wrote that the will deceives us, pushing us into desire only to abandon us in suffering. You've turned that cycle into your weapon. You keep men hard and then ask why they're not soft. You bait the beast and then blame him for howling. You provoke and then shame, luring him with your body only to punish him for looking. You treat his biology like a chess piece, and when he loses, you call it proof of his inferiority. But it was you who rigged the game. Nietzsche once said, "That which is done out of love always takes place beyond good and evil." Your actions aren't evil, but they're not innocent. They're a manipulation driven by the will, beyond morality, beyond blame. Yet you offer the same pose, the same lips, the same filter, and expect to be treated like something sacred. You want loyalty, but you mock it. You want connection, but you sell your visibility to the highest bidder. You want depth, but you flash your skin like a signpost and wonder why men stop at the surface. Men aren't running from you. They're starving. Starving for the version of you that can't be posted, that can't be filtered, that doesn't know how to be anything except real. And still, when a man looks, you call it weakness. When he touches, you call it assault. When he walks away, you call it immaturity. But what was he supposed to do with your performance? He saw the game. He saw the pattern. And he chose silence over shame, the power of non-reaction, the quiet revolution. Schopenhauer warned that human connection is tainted by illusion, that beauty is a mask worn by the will to trick us into bondage. You've turned that illusion into a lifestyle, industrialized it, monetized it, ritualized it. You've made yourself a megaphone of arousal and then punished him for hearing. You've turned men into voyeurs and then asked why they don't stay. You've turned your skin into currency and wonder why no one invests in your soul. You've made vulnerability a trap and then cried betrayal when no one takes the bait. But it's not just your loss. It's ours. Every time you put your body on the front line, you rob a man of the chance to rediscover his masculinity. You rob him of the silence needed to hear his own heart. Picture him standing on a cliff at dawn, the wind cold against his skin, yearning for stillness. But your image flashes in his mind, a chain pulling him back to chaos. You rob him of the sacred space where love, not lust, could grow. Not love of curves, but love of character. Not attraction to skin, but connection to soul. But your performance was louder than your presence, your seduction louder than your sincerity. Have you ever mistaken obedience for intimacy? Did she change, or did she just stop pretending? Men don't hate women. They're disoriented by them. Women have stopped revealing who they are and started projecting who they want to be seen as. You offer a fantasy and then demand to be treated like a future. You show a costume and expect to be treated like a queen. But you can't play both victim and vixen. You can't bait a man's biology and then shame his response. You can't cry for commitment while dancing in chaos. And so men retreat. They've learned, slowly, painfully, that fantasy is safer than fallout, that a screen is gentler than your scorn. A man sits in his car at midnight, the engine off, staring at the stars. He deletes your number, not out of anger, but out of survival. He's not with you anymore, even when he's beside you. He looks, but he doesn't see. He touches, but he doesn't trust. And the saddest part, you don't even notice. You're too busy capturing the angle, posting the illusion, feeding the algorithm. Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. But there's no transformation here, only transaction. Let's return to that man in the dimly lit room, the one who never sent that message. The wound hasn't healed, but it's clearer now. You didn't lose her. You lost the man you became to keep her. The myth of her as your salvation was a chain, and breaking it is your awakening. Men still want to love, to protect, to rise for something real, but you've left no space for that. You didn't want a protector. You wanted an audience, a pedestal for your ego, not a partner for your soul. So now men disappear, not in body but in spirit. And you'll ask, with tears and rage, where did all the good men go? They were here. They stood in front of you. They tried. They broke. They bent their backs to be what you claimed you wanted, until they realized you didn't want a man. You wanted a mirror, reflection, not revelation. There's a way back, but it's brutal. Women must stop hiding behind their skin and start showing their substance. Step away from the mirror, away from illusion, and into essence. The moment you stop baiting a man's instincts, you give him a chance to feel yours. The moment you stop demanding attention, you might earn intimacy. And that takes depth. Depth you can't fake. Have you walked this fire? Tell us below, so no man feels like he's breaking alone. If this truth shook something awake in you, share it. Not for the algorithm, but for the soul that's still asleep. What if love was never the cure, only the mirror reflecting your deepest wounds? This is dark Psyphoria, where the illusion ends and something ancient begins. Thank you for watching. Walk your path with quiet strength.